Some stories don't end at the crash. Some keep rolling, like wheels that won't stop turning. For James Dean, the most chilling part of his story didn't happen while he was alive. It began the moment he died. This is where the story begins for many. But for James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder, the crash was not an end. No, it was a dark genesis, a starting point for a legacy of misfortune, of unexplained events, of pure, unadulterated dread that clings to its very name. We're talking about a car so infamous, so steeped in tragedy, that its story sends shivers down your spine. It's a tale that goes far beyond a simple accident on a lonely California highway. We have to ask ourselves, was this just a machine, or did something else, something sinister, attach itself to it? The energy surrounding this vehicle is palpable, even decades later. The date was September 30th, 1955, a day that would forever be etched in Hollywood lore, not for a movie premiere, but for a violent, sudden end. James Dean, the rebel icon, was behind the wheel of his prized Porsche. He was on his way to a race full of life, full of that raw energy he brought to the screen. But fate, or perhaps something darker, had other plans. The collision was brutal, instantaneous, and in that moment a legend was born. But another, more chilling legend was just beginning to stir from the mangled remains of that silver sports car. Prepare yourselves, because this journey into the heart of the legend is not for the faint of heart. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon on that late September afternoon in 1955. James Dean, the epitome of cool rebellion, was driving his brand new Porsche 550 Spyder. A silver bullet he affectionately, or perhaps ominously, nicknamed Little Bastard. He was en route to a sports car race in Salinas, California, accompanied by his mechanic, Rolf Wutherich. Dean was excited, eager to test the limits of his powerful new machine. He had a need for speed, a passion that ultimately sealed his fate. As Dean sped along US Route 466 near Cholame, California, a 1950 Ford Tudor, driven by a young college student named Donald Turnipseed, made a left turn, attempting to enter Route 41. Turnipseed later claimed he didn't see Dean's low-profile silver Porsche approaching against the twilight glare. The impact was catastrophic. James Dean, just 24 years old, was killed almost instantly. Rolf Wutherich, his passenger, was thrown from the Porsche and suffered serious injuries, but he survived. The news of Dean's death sent shockwaves across the world. The Porsche 550 Spyder was a marvel of its time. A lightweight, agile and incredibly fast racing machine, it was one of only about 90 ever produced. James Dean, an avid racing enthusiast, was instantly drawn to its allure. He acquired his chassis number 550-0055 in September 1955, just days before his fatal crash. He was so proud of this silver beast, a symbol of his success and his daring spirit. Dean had the car customized by the legendary George Barris, a name synonymous with Hollywood car culture. He had the number 130 painted on its hood, doors and engine cover. But it was another customization that would become infamous, the name Little Bastard. Reportedly, this moniker was given to Dean by Bill Hickman, his dialogue coach and a stunt driver, referring to Dean's own rebellious and sometimes difficult nature. Dean embraced it, having it painted on the car's rear. Little did anyone know how chillingly appropriate, how foreboding that name would become. After the horrific crash that claimed James Dean's life, the mangled remains of Little Bastard were declared a total loss by the insurance company. The car was a twisted heap of metal, a gruesome reminder of the tragedy. This is where George Barris, the famed car customizer who had worked on the Porsche for Dean, re-enters the story. Barris, perhaps seeing some potential in the wreckage, or maybe driven by a desire to preserve a piece of Hollywood history, however grim, purchased the totaled car for a reported $2,500. The moment Barris took possession of the wreck, the strange occurrences began. It's said that as the car was being unloaded at his shop, it slipped and fell, breaking a mechanic's leg. Barris, despite this initial unsettling event, decided to part out the infamous Porsche. He sold the engine and drivetrain to two doctors, Troy McHenry and William Eschrid, both of whom were amateur racers. This decision to disseminate parts of Little Bastard would, according to the legend, spread its curse even further. The initial accident at his shop was a stark warning, a sign that this car was not to be trifled with. The decision to sell off parts of Little Bastard proved to be a catalyst for further tragedy. Dr. Troy McHenry, who had purchased the Porsche's powerful engine, installed it into his own race car. During a race in Pomona, California, on October 21, 1956, McHenry lost control of his vehicle. He crashed into a tree and was killed instantly. The engine from Little Bastard was at the heart of this new tragedy. Dr. William Eschrid, who had bought the drivetrain and other parts from Dean's Porsche, also experienced a terrifying incident. While racing his car, which now contained these components, he was involved in a serious crash. His car locked up and rolled over. Unlike McHenry, Eschrid miraculously survived, but he was severely injured. Two doctors, two racers, both using parts from Little Bastard, both involved in horrific accidents. Even the tyres from Little Bastard seemed to carry the jinx. The young man who bought two of them reportedly had both tyres blow out simultaneously, causing his car to veer off the road. Thankfully, he was not seriously injured, but the incident added another layer to the car's dark reputation. The shell of Little Bastard, the main body of the car, also had its share of grim tales. While being stored, the garage it was in mysteriously caught fire, though the car itself reportedly suffered minimal additional damage. With each new accident, each unexplained misfortune, the legend of the curse of Little Bastard grew stronger. The sheer number of incidents connected to the car and its parts was staggering. People began to believe that the Porsche was genuinely cursed, a harbinger of doom for anyone who came into contact with it. This wasn't just Hollywood sensationalism. These were real events, real injuries, real deaths. Skeptics, of course, offer more rational explanations for these events. They argue that race car driving is inherently dangerous and accidents are common. The Porsche 550 Spyder was a high-performance vehicle, difficult to handle even for experienced drivers. They suggest that the incidents were tragic coincidences, amplified by the car's association with a famous celebrity death. Are they right, or are they dismissing something truly unexplainable? The perception of a curse is a powerful force in itself. Whether Little Bastard was truly imbued with a supernatural malevolence or not, the belief that it was cursed could have influenced how people interacted with it. Perhaps one of the most chilling aspects of the Little Bastard legend is the premonition attributed to James Dean himself, and a stark warning he received from fellow actor Alec Guinness. Just a week before his fatal crash, Dean proudly showed off his new Porsche 550 Spyder to Guinness outside a Hollywood restaurant. According to Alec Guinness, when Dean showed him the car, Guinness felt an inexplicable sense of dread. He told Dean, "Please never get in it. If you get in that car, you will be found dead in it by this time next week." Dean reportedly just laughed it off. 7 days later, James Dean was dead, killed in that very car. Guinness's words were not just a casual remark. He described having an almost clairvoyant experience, a sudden, overwhelming feeling that the car was sinister. After its gruesome tour of accidents and misfortunes while under George Barris's ownership and during its exhibition, the story of Little Bastard takes another bizarre turn. It vanished. In 1960, after a safety exhibit in Florida, the wreckage was supposed to be shipped back to Los Angeles. Barris had arranged for it to be transported in a sealed boxcar on a train. However, when the train arrived in Los Angeles, the boxcar was still sealed. But Little Bastard was gone. The car had mysteriously disappeared, seemingly into thin air. How does a wrecked car simply vanish from a sealed container? The disappearance of Little Bastard only deepened its mythic status. Theories abound. Some believe it was stolen by a macabre collector, someone obsessed with its dark history. Others whisper that perhaps the car, with its supposed malevolent consciousness, somehow orchestrated its own disappearance. The legacy of James Dean's Little Bastard is far more than just the tale of a tragic car crash. It has transcended its physical existence or lack thereof to become a potent symbol of cursed objects and Hollywood tragedy. Decades after its disappearance, the story continues to fascinate and terrify. It taps into our primal fear of the unknown, the idea that inanimate objects can harbour dark energies and influence the world around them. The sheer persistence of the legend, fueled by countless articles, documentaries, and paranormal investigations, speaks to its enduring power over our collective imagination. Little Bastard remains an icon of automotive infamy. Its story serves as a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the inexplicable nature of some misfortunes. Whether you believe in curses or chalk it all up to coincidence and morbid storytelling, the car's history is undeniably dark and compelling. The name itself, Little Bastard, has become shorthand for any object associated with a string of bad luck or tragedy. It has entered the lexicon of the paranormal, a benchmark against which other cursed items are often measured. Thank you for watching The Car, the Curse, the Legacy, James Dean Part 2, brought to you by Softbound. If this story surprised you or made you question what you thought you knew, tell us in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe and follow along as we uncover more echoes from the past.